Hey everyone. Okay, so jumping right into it, obviously the thing to talk about is the reveal at the end of the episode seeing Momo in his adult dragon form, which is epic, but as odd as a pivot as this is going to sound, I want to take a moment to talk about Momonosuke's voice actor that they cast for the reveal, as apparently, obviously, Momonosuke being an adult now, they ditched the previous voice actor, and Momonosuke currently is being played from Shiro Shimono. And the reason I'm even bringing this up, despite him only getting one or two lines in the whole episode, is because, like, when it comes to like situations like this where you cast an adult character who's kind of very similar to another character, it would have been so easy to get it would have been so easy in order to get Hiroya Ishimura, the voice of Odin, to play adult Momonosuke as well. But I like how Toei chose the route of picking someone who does sound a little similar, but still young enough to differentiate himself from Odin. Like Odin is still like Momonosuke sounds. He's got a little bit of that Odin energy to him in his adult form, but you can tell he's still very kind of young, kind of thing. Now, this is also where now and yeah, I love the route they went with this whole thing and how they cast Momonosuke as an adult in this one. Now, this is also where my praise ends, unfortunately, because this is again one of those moments where, for as epic as the reveal of Momo's dragon form was, it's also true that you can kind of tell how much the episode tried to fill time just to make that reveal the ending of the episode have happened. And to be fair, everything else in between isn't even necessarily bad, but it ties into something I have been talking about for a while now, and feels like I'm just kind of repeating stuff at this point, which is even when making progress, they're still moving at a snail's pace with the Momonosuke plot. And I get why, but it's like I get. Glad we got the reveal that we did. I'm glad of it, but it's like, can you kind of move it along with the Momonosuke stuff, please? Like, again, I now with that said, this episode and previous ones as well have also given me a bit of an idea as to why they've chosen to do this, because I think Toei's been trying to streamline all the different plot points that this arc tackles in a way where the setup is undoubtedly going to be messy, but once all the important pieces are on the board, they can tackle them individually. It's how they handled majority of the Straw Hat battles, and I'm assuming how they're gonna be handling the fight with Big Mom, Queen, King, and Kaido now. So now that Momonosuke has like finally evolved, so to speak, I imagine like the next couple episodes are gonna have strict focus on Yamanota's fight with Kaido and the related backstory, then transitioning into Big Mom's fight with Kid, and then transitioning into all the other fights we know with Kid and Law versus Big Mom, and Luffy versus Kaido, and Zoro and Sanji versus Queen and King. Like once the setup is all done, that's when we tackle them individually. Again, that's what I assume they're doing, but can't say with certainty either. And yeah, with that said, Usopp continues the trend of being the luckiest son of a bitch in the entirety of fiction. Not just One Piece, but fiction as a whole. Because let's be real here. If Big Mom hadn't unleashed that wave of Conqueror's Haki, Usopp would be sniffing up daisies. But it's like thanks to Big Mom that he now has three idiots working for him. Just like, which is so just on brand for Usopp, like just wow. And frankly, with shit like that, it makes you wonder if it is foreshadowing Usopp gaining Conqueror's Haki, or it's just a gag. Because with Usopp, you just never know. And yeah, well, while on the topic of Big Mom, I like how we see that her Haki is so damn strong that it has far-reaching effects to other areas of Nagorishima. It's little details like that which emphasize she isn't anything to fuck with, and something I think the anime is doing better at, just showing how powerful she is. Um, with all that said, let's talk about the Inuarashi versus Jack fight, because honestly, I find myself a lot more torn upon revisiting this fight than I was in the manga, because on one hand, just like with the manga, I'm like, please just end this fight already. But on the other hand, I am enjoying with everything that we've seen in the Inuyasha versus Jack fight is up to this point. I will say I am enjoying it slightly more in the anime than the manga, just for seeing extra moments of Jack getting his ass whipped around and just getting thrown around and whipped around the place and getting pretty much thrown around by Inuarashi. And unlike with Perospero, there isn't anything I will say, unlike with Perospero, there isn't anything inherently annoying about Jack. He's just a little too. He's just portrayed as a little too persistent in moments where it feels like he should just be defeated. Like every time it feels like he should just be defeated, he gets back up for some reason. Although re-examining this fight and the circumstances surrounding it, I think one thing that does make it better, and what I think Oda was trying to do but didn't entirely succeed at, is reinforcing the idea of keeping people like Jack and Perospero away from the performance floor so Sanji and Zoro could defeat King and Queen. Like that ultimately I think is what was intended, and honestly, but I think what didn't entirely help it as well, at least in the manga, is that these events kind of felt like they were happening like in kind of just in separation of what was happening on the performance floor, at least a little too much. Like if there was stuff that was, if it was happening close to the performance floor, or happening in moments, or we had moments where they're trying to escape the performance floor, I think that might have helped a little bit. But because not, it felt like they're just happening in just separately from, a little too separately from the performance, from the intended goal of keeping them away from the performance floor. And honestly, I don't have a problem with extending the fight with Jack. I wish we could have just ended the whole. I really wish we could have just ended the whole thing. I just really wish we could have ended the whole Perospero fiasco in this episode, because we see Nekomamushi transform into Sulong and then it cuts off, which had me screaming, "Damn it!" Like again, I like this. The whole scene with Nekomamushi and Perospero is one of those where it's like, I really wish that they had just ended. Just this is one of those moments where I wish that they didn't entirely follow the manga or didn't even add anything to it and just ended the fight. Just end it there. Just don't do anything. Just end Perospero's life, please. For the love of God, just end this man already. Like that's kind of my. Because that's honestly just how much I hate Perospero, or more so how much he talks so much shit, but when you get down to it, he's just a little bit of a bitch. But yeah. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. I'm on Twitter, and on this Crunchyroll. Be sure to notification bell, subscribe button, and just share the around, guys. Dark Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, everyone.